Hello, I'm Jennifer Ho, and I'm here to introduce you to the And I Didn't Die podcast, formerly known as Ask an Introvert. Yes, I have rebranded this podcast, and I didn't die. I definitely felt like I would, though, because it got scary at times, even if I knew this is not life-threatening. And yet, at the same time, if I'm being really, really honest, being scared actually made me feel more alive than I have lately about podcasting. So here's a little secret. I sat on launching my first podcast, Ask an Introvert, for 6 whole months. I knew what that first episode was going to be about. I want friends, but I don't want to go clubbing. And I knew other people felt this way, but I was still so scared to share, because what if people don't actually like that being said out loud? Or what if no one listens? Or what if I say something wrong or someone takes it the wrong way and they take that clip out of context and they get mad at me and I get canceled? Yeah, a lot of mind drama before I even had a podcast to worry about. But I did it anyway, and I didn't die. And for 2 years, Ask an Introvert was my safe place to experiment with podcasting, to share with you new sides of me that I hadn't put out online, and to prove to myself that I could show up and share long-form content. Sometimes even before I fully processed what I was going through, I let myself talk about it. And after 2 years of playing in that space, something started to feel off. Now, while the podcast is no longer called Ask an Introvert, the introvert lens is still part of my story. That is part of my identity. It's how I move through the world. But I realized I was only sharing the part of me that I felt the most comfortable sharing. The label introvert gave me a safe container, but I also started to feel really limited in what stories I could tell. If I didn't have an introvert angle, I would leave it out, and that meant leaving parts of myself out. I'm not here for that anymore. So in the past 2 years, I've grown, I've listened to more podcasts, I've consumed more episodes from various podcasters, I've learned more, and I realized I want to add some entertainment to my podcast. I want to create episodes that don't just teach you something, but make you feel something, that give you a story, maybe a punch in the gut, laughter, some tears, and a little bit of, holy shit, me too. There's so many versions of me that didn't have the confidence, capacity, or the voice to do what I'm doing now. But those versions still matter, and I want to tell all of her stories too. Every time, even if it wasn't truly life or death, if it just felt scary as heck, I followed through anyway. And I would say that those are the moments that have really made my life feel worthwhile. Ask an Introvert really helped me build that muscle of self-leadership. And if you go back, I think you can hear the shift happening, especially episodes in later 2024, like fall and winter. The episodes about dating, showing up more consistently, skipping video for a couple episodes, and drawing lessons from things that were real and relevant even when I was still figuring it out. You saw that shift happen if you were here, and if you're new here, that's what you're going to get. I used to be scared to share something that I'd later change my mind about, but I realized because part of the skill of self-leadership is allowing yourself to change your mind only after you follow through with something. So you have to make a decision, follow through, collect data, and then make a new decision. And if that one's different from your last one, that's when you get to change your mind. Only after you've collected new data. But why I say that is that life's not linear, and neither is growth. We all learn to self-lead by showing up and letting ourselves grow and evolve. And that's what I'm letting myself do with this rebrand. But I would say, fun fact, I never truly branded anything. Like, take my Instagram. Originally, I picked a color, green, and just ran with it. Eventually, people started associating green with me. Green, and then orange, and then purple. And it always had some kind of touch of green. And now, if you look at my website and my podcast cover, there's no green at all, except in the plant photos. But it's still me. I definitely made sure that the new colors look good with the plants. But this shift isn't just visual, it's energetic. I was showing up more real, more raw, more me. And when I look back at the Ask an Introvert archive of episodes, the whole body of work is good, but something didn't line up anymore. And so that's my reason to change the name of the podcast and set a new intention and focus on a new concept. I did worry, would rebranding look like I was running away from something? Did I just not finish what I started with Ask an Introvert? But the truth is, I was holding on from a checklist energy, not a live my dream life energy. The fact that I wasn't attached to that name anymore, I saw it as a sign. It meant I was ready to make a big change. No matter how scary, no matter how visible, no matter how public, I have made this change. And I didn't die. Clearly, I am still here. This podcast now feels scarier for sure, but it also feels truer to me, and it feels more expansive. Really, it feels more like home. So going forward, you can still expect introvert stories, but you're also going to hear eldest daughter stories and more entertaining, emotionally honest, and unexpected angles and stories. And you're going to hear more about times when I'm scared, because this is a podcast about doing shit that scares you. And with this version of the podcast launching in May, it coincides with Asian American, Native Hawaiian, and Pacific Islander Month. And while I think that's something to celebrate and recognize year long, it does feel significant for me to start sharing stories that are coming from not just my introvert lens, but my Asian American lens, Vietnamese eldest daughter of immigrants. Yeah, it already strikes a much more emotional chord. And some of the things I've hesitated about before is how much can I share about times when I had conflicts with my family, but still present it in a grounded way, a grounded and loving way, rather than a complaining or resentful kind of way, because that's not how I want to represent those things, but they are my lived experiences that I think are important to share. And so I will be taking you into the backstory of things, the messy middle of things, the moments where I was absolutely convinced that I was just not going to make it through. But ultimately, many times I have come out the other side and I've gotten to say, I did this and I didn't die. This is just the beginning, and I'm really glad you're here with me. I can't wait to share all the scary shit I've done. Scary to me. I hope, ideal situation, you listen to all this and you're like, it doesn't scare me at all. Then good for you. But if you listen to it and you're like, holy shit, that's me too, then I also have lessons that I've learned along the way for you that can help you make it through to the other side as well. If this new direction resonates, stick around, invite a friend, and if you've ever done something that scares the shit out of you and came out the other side and didn't die, you know what to say. All right, I will talk to you very soon in the next episode.